I want to buy your artwork now. I want to buy it. Give it to me. I want your art. Give it to me. It's on sale. Get it now. All right, people, how you doing? Good day. This is artist Kevin McDowell coming to you from home for ASG-Artizfacts Studio Gallery. Have my coffee. Moo Moo cat. Come here, Moo kitty. Moo. Every time I get into zone doing some stuff, he always has little antics. I think he looks for attention. The other day, he has a little ball, his little play ball. He rolls it under my feet. I just looked at him. You know, I play with him a lot. Sometimes I play, what I say? Sometimes I'm the predator and he's running. Like I go, these are my claws. You know, I don't have mandibles. There he is again. Moo. I'm sorry. Sometimes working with a cat or a pet is like working with a child. Leave it alone. Stop biting on things you don't need to bite on before you choke on that. Now, let me do something. I gotta take the precaution. Gotta move it out of his way. Every time you see a little wire, you won't play with something. All right. So today, folks, I'm going to work on a part 2 of this painting here that I've shared yesterday morning. Yes, I believe. And so I added in the figure. There's the male, there's the woman, there's the man, there's the woman, there's, yo, girl, how you doing today? Oh, how you doing, man? Whatever. So I'm going to add on the detail. I'm going to have more of these little spirally things going on. The goal is to get it something of sorts where I can get detail like this in it. You know, this is one painting. Matter of fact, I'll do it this way. If I switch back, then you can see it makes sense. So if I do it like this, you know, see like this one. Have all this little detail going on. And these are untitled. I don't have names for them yet. And like this one in here, the other one. These are now listed. They're listed on my Facebook page. They're not listed on my website yet. Once they're on my website, then I'm going to put them up there for the fair market value. So you can get these now for like $300. These are 9 by 12, you know. Sometimes people ask me, how do you price your work? There's many factors in pricing the work. Usually I have a price index that's based on square inch, you know, and also the medium itself. Sometimes the time it takes to build the work, I don't take that in consideration. Unless it's like for a client, it's like a rush job. Like I gotta get it by tomorrow. If I gotta sacrifice other potential clientele, whatever it is, or put that at risk, I have to charge a little more. And they have to understand that. But anyway, have my coffee, have a sip. I'm going to have a sip today. Really good coffee. Moo, what you looking at? Cats are very spiritual. I call Moo the guardian of the house. Moo, you want to join me? Moo, want to come in for the live? Come on. You can see this cat. He's looking at me like this. Like I'm short. His eye go. And his tail. Like you short. Like. Anyway. Moo. All right, peace. I'm going to start working now. Don't disturb me. I got to talk to the cat like he's a person. I think cats and animals, they do understand. They understand tone at least, you know. All right, let's get right into this. I don't have a title for this, and I'm going to use these refined tip markers. Here, I worked on the detail. Well, I'm going to work on the detail to bring this out, make it more pronounced. I was challenged a little bit with this yesterday, in terms of, you know, jumping right into it where I was going to go. So I had to blob it in and get the form of the male figure. So I'm going to now, with the markers, I'm going to use these. I usually use these. These are acrylic paint markers. And these are metallic sheen. They usually have in just regular opaque primary tonation colors of that nature. Ooh, I need my coffee. But, this particular brand I bought to replace this marker, different brand. And you can see, this marker here is thicker. So these last longer. I like this only in the sense that it's a dual tip. So it gives you that kind of brush thing, you know, like a more organic, simulates an actual paintbrush as a brush tip. The problem is that this tip, you know, this tip here, the fine point, they get nibbed a lot. What I mean by that, because inside this well, you know, it's a very tight space. And then every time I Sometimes it bends the tip and it crunches it. That's the only one of two drawbacks about it. One is thin, so it doesn't hold as much ink. They're about the same length, approximately the same length. Once I take off the tips, as you can see, approximately. But this has more paint in it. So, and it was hard for me to find the availability. So I'm going to just use this for now, and we're going to jump right into it. Enough discussion. All right. So homeboy here. Let me think what colors I want to add to him. I want to outline some things. I want to put some detail in that. I don't want the cool, maybe make it warm. So let me go with this, I guess, simulated orange. And maybe I will highlight that James Evans knows. Good times. Keeping your head above water. Making a way that you can. Temporary layoffs. Good times. Okay, let me see. I want some contrast here. So let me bring out that. And then this side. Okay. It's funny looking at the camera view and then looking at my painter's view, because the camera, the phone camera, the optics of it is a bit distorted. It does exaggerate even more what I see. So I can tell really how inaccurate it is by looking at the phone, because it's like a technique I used to tell students when we would draw for drawing portraits, that once you draw and practice your portraits, look at the portrait in the mirror. Look at it in reverse, because the way our brain works, right and left hemisphere, the way our operation of how our eyes work and how we see. If you want to really, really see how something looks like as an artist, you draw, especially drawing, if you want to see proportions and accuracy, draw the object and flip it in the mirror. And in the mirror, you'll see all the distortions. You'll see the improportions. One side is extremely large than the other. And you can see the spacing. Wow. Then after you stare at it for a few minutes, we revert it back to its normal view. Then those things that weren't so obvious to you will pop out. You go, oh, now I see it. I've learned that. It's an optical trick. I learned that. Where did I learn that? I found it online somewhere. But it was a good technique that I try to tell students. I'm going to put this here also. I'm going to put the outline a little bit here. And that makes the paint come out. And I'm going to put a little bit of the outline here for his face. A little bit. Not too much. And bring it out so it looks like a highlight. And in the top part of the lip. Yeah, I see where. Okay. Like that. It's a little bit. And as I work, I usually adjust as I go. And with the cool side, and I'll use the blue. I don't want that. This is how we do. Nope. Well, yeah, maybe. That's the way it's reflecting, so. And then that. And that. And I can put in that detail patterns. Just doing this just to redefine the outline. And so I just want to share with you guys this morning. I'm going to keep this live very, 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 very short. And I don't know, I figured it out. I went to set this up to initially say, you know what? Let me show the gram some love. Let me go to the gram and then let me show the gram some love and let me go in and just do a live there. And I was going to click that live button that says your account is no longer available to do lives. I'm like, what? They've changed the settings, and it was supposedly, it has to be a public account, and it has to have over 1,000 followers. I'm like, since when? It really shows you how the social media is an influential tool. That's how I see it. Like, wow, if I have 100 people, you have 20 people. No, you can't do lives. You have to have 1,000. Why? Who knows really 1,000 people? I mean, you know the person. There may be a few people, and I know 1,000 people personally by first name. Maybe it's rare, but the reality of it is, who really knows that many people? So it really shows you how the power of the internet with social media is actually used as a tool to influence. That's why people are called influencers. Someone's joining the live, I guess. I see. Hello, who's here? I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to get back to show what I'm doing. I'm doing my painting, working on it. I just had a little argument with Momo Kitty, my little cat, but I'm going to get back into this. So, yeah, this is what I'm working on. And I'm going to essentially work out some of this detail here. Let me see if I can give you the detail in this little corner, that little spot. Sometimes I do layers of artwork and layers of paint. When these things come out and I paint over, if it has some character to it, I'll bring it out. Like I'll emphasize it because I have patterns here. And there's patterns in her hair and patterns in, patterns here. So I want that pattern, design, spots, lines of things that come in. It makes the work more interesting. It makes it more graphic. All right. So, let me see where I'm going with this. I go to know what I go to put in. I'm going to work something around here, but I got to really build it up. I'll just go with the flow of that. Let's see. I'll take, and that's the brush tip. No, that's the actual fine point tip. And I'll accentuate that. This works for me is because sometimes I don't want the work to be so straightforward in terms of the images. I want people to dive into the artwork and really look at it and analyze it and study it. The funny thing about my work is that, I've done paintings and work and had works in public exhibitions. I may have shared this before, and just watch people, onlookers look at it and let them assess, from their own perspective, what they see, like what calls them. And I've had some interesting conversations with some people, It's funny how the brain works, they'll interpret what they'll interpret. And I realize sometimes interpretation is sometimes based on culture, experience. There's certain nuances that play in how people perceive things. It's not just a straightforward, cut and dry, This is sometimes also very, 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 very relaxing, So if I pose the question to adults, if there was a Saturday or Sunday where I opened up a live session, an actual paint session, not necessarily a paint and sip, it could be like a paint and brunch, and I set it up, would you be interested in participating? So if you're seeing this in the comment section, you can put in the comment section and maybe I can set that up and play. I'm throwing this out there because sometimes it's all about, I'm a firm believer in making things happen. And since the thought came in my head, there must be a reason why the thought came to my head. Maybe there may be someone who just needs to get out and just socialize with people, or, they need a form of recreational therapy, or I would say recreation, but a form of just creative outlet, and art is a good way to do it. And I don't think one has to always be an artistic master. If there is such a thing, there are some people, yes, who are, excellent in what they do, but you don't have to be artistically inclined. And also, I teach art classes. I'm a retired licensed art teacher, DOE. So that doesn't mean I stop teaching. If it means that people are interested in having a paint and sip, things can be arranged. Let me see if I can get a little bit of this here into view. This is also awkward for me because what's so funny? I'm doing this on my little makeshift easel. All my small mini easels are actually in storage, and I'm not going to go to the storage just to take out an easel. I got to climb through all that stuff. But interesting enough, a lot of us as artists, we've learned to draw on the flat table, and that works for a particular type of work. I find if you work in comic book art or, sometimes with animation, when I learned as an animator, our animated light boxes or light plates, they were disc. In the animation studio, they're like a disc shape with a flat piece of frosted plexiglass. And it was able to rotate it 360. And I worked in animation studios, especially when I was in art school, in an animation studio, that's the way it was set up. You had an animation table. It was like a regular plywood table with a hole cut in it. And the animation, how should I call it? What do they call those things? Oh my gosh, that was decades ago. I'm talking about going back well over, 30 something years. But anyway, and you would put this round disc-like, light box, flat light box, and it had, pegs in it, and you would have your paper, animation paper. The hole puncher would punch the pegs in, specially designed for the animation, and you would line, and that's how you would draw and trace your frames, your keyframes, or your in-between your cleanup frames. That way, I'm running my mouth a lot. I'm curious to see who checked in. I always find that in this platform, I'm going to say it, that there are peepers, people who come in and they look and never give a comment. For all I know, it could be someone in my follow page, and for some reason, the settings is, I don't know. I don't burn myself out of it. Because sometimes folks are weird like that. They don't, they will, in some ways, privately praise you, but publicly won't do it. I'm kind of stuck right here. Color schemes and patterns. I'm not feeling that organic today. Let me see. I'm going to play with some of these patterns here. I'm going to put, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to play with this. Do that a bit. This is really fun. You should try it at home. Try it. And I'm going to get this. And then I'll do the opposite. I'll work from the greens to the purples to the violets. Create a form of visual balance. Matter of fact, let me use the other marker. I have another purple. It's not metallic, it's opaque. In that set of markers. Where are you? Where are you? I'm dropping stuff all over the floor. I don't know where it is. I thought I had it here. Yeah, that's me not being organized. I have a very interesting, I found it. Interesting way of working. Sometimes I work in a space of mess. When I'm done, I clean it all up. Yeah, that one. Get that going. Dot, dot, dot. I don't like the way that overlaps. That going. It's getting random. And then I'll go from the green. Now this one I gotta be careful with because this green drips. So I want to run. I won't press. I won't put the pressure. And then that one is starting to drip. So I got to do that. She's speaking words. She's speaking words. Yeah, so that's the situation. The gram Meta no longer will allow my account because I don't have over 1,000 followers. Now I could get 1,000 followers. That's doable. If people would share and like. There was a point when I was using the gram and I had over 3,000, this was years ago, 3,000 some odd followers. And I can't remember, either I closed that account or the account got hacked or both, one of the two. And I realized what it was, a whole lot of bots. A whole lot of bots in the account, and they weren't real people. Because I remember at that time, what the gram would do is they would tell you you can promote your page and you can boost your page and you can get likes. It was likes. You can get likes. And I said, oh, you get likes? And you would pay to get likes. To find out they were just bots. And so it was kind of ironic that with their protocol, they have a very strict protocol about bots and all that fake stuff. But yet they were allowing it to go on for over a whole year. And it was like, you want to get followers? You want to get likes? That's what it was, likes. You can buy likes. You can buy likes. Now, imagine that. You're going to buy likes? That's like going on the public. Hey, well, my friend, I paid to be my friend. It's not authentic. And then at a certain point in time, accounts that had that got banned. It's the same principle as you can't use certain music that's licensed by Sony Group or whatever, but they make it accessible for you to use it. Why would they put it on there and make it accessible if they're going to ban it? So you kind of set your account up for limited access, limited viewership, because in certain territories, the copyright laws will ban your video because to protect the artist, you can't use that music unless, of course, you have a license. And how does one do that? How does one show by means of internet that they have a license usage rights? Because I know there are people, or I've seen people with accounts who have stated that they have their own music, that they've created their original own music, and then the same platforms ban them because you can't use that music and they're the ones who created it. It's kind of weird, right? Call it draconian, how to go censorship. But anyway, it is what it is. Let me not talk too much. Let me just focus on doing the beautiful work. Kevin, focus on the beautiful work. I would love for someone to come in and say, yeah, Kevin, focus on that. Stay in your lane. I would block you. I'm not the type of person who keeps my mouth shut. I am a verbal activist. I do cite my opinion. I keep my opinion with integrity. I keep it tactful. I don't come out like blatant disrespecting people, ill regard. I don't, what they feel and think. Unless, of course, a person comes at me with shade, then I'm going to rebuttal. Like Khan, Star Trek. Okay, what do I have here? I don't know what I have. This is orange. All right, but I'm going to keep this short, guys. I just want to share with you guys what I'm doing. I'm going to work on this some more and finish this out. I'm going to work more on him. I won't work too much on his face because her face doesn't have a lot of pattern. And I want her face to be just like that. I want it to be natural. I want to stand out. So I have this naturalness in his face. Maybe I'll find a way to blend and infuse. I'll create a gradation, I'm thinking, between the purples and the green. Maybe I'll do a bluish something. And it'll be more like a smooth gradation in that. Yeah. And it'll keep them youthful looking. Yeah. And then I work on the rest of these patterns in the lower R. Yeah, I got it. I got a concept. So I'll check back on you guys a little bit later. Again, don't forget, give a like, give a share. Go to www.artizfacts.com. If you're looking for merch, wearable art, women's leggings, men's t-shirts, bags, tote bags, some custom order designs, and I have original artwork there also. Now note, the original artwork that you see on my official website is not the work that you're going to see like these particular pieces. These particular pieces are not going to be listed. These works are just recreated a few days ago. My goal is to, by the end of this week, have at least 12 of these small minis. The minis are 8x10s, 9x12s. I'm planning to do a show in a pop-up show in Brooklyn. So this work will be available for that show. Once I get confirmation that I will be participating in that show, I will post it and let you guys know where I will be, and the price will be offered, will be honored. So whatever price I'm posting here, it'll be the same price. I might even have a discount code if you come way out to Brooklyn. That being said, after this, it goes back to the fair market price. I'm going to sell these things like $400 a piece because my work has its value. You know, larger pieces can cost you anywhere from 18 to 22, depending on the size. If they're like 24 by 18, I have pieces that are larger. I have pieces that can go anywhere from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10,000. But I don't post that. Those are for people who just want to come through and say, hey, look at that. I like that. Yeah, that's for that. You know, and there's a reason for all that stuff. You know, I've got pieces that are 20,000 that I sell even more, but you're not going to see that because the way I prepare it. Maybe once in a while I'll sneak a little peek. Hey, oh, that's beautiful. You know, so that I won't do. All right, people. So that's going to be in a nutshell. Artist Ken McDowell here. Again, coming to you from my page. Don't forget to check out my official Artizfacts Studio Gallery news page on Facebook. Don't forget to check out me on ASG-Artizfacts Studio Gallery on the Instagram. And don't forget to check out my YouTube channel, Artizfacts Art on YouTube. It's ASG-Artizfacts Studio Gallery, Artizfacts Art on YouTube. All right. We're going to end this day. A little bit more coffee. Where'd that cat go? I got to watch him. Sometimes I dip my feet. All right, peace. No chicken grease. Y'all be good. Don't forget to send a like and a share. Peace.